Hello, welcome all. My name is Assistant Professor Milan V. Patel, MA Electrical Power System from the Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Technical Education and Research Center. Today we will discuss the chapter number 8 from the subject Power Quality and Management, having a subject code 21809111 from the semester number 8 of the Electrical Engineering Department. So chapter number 8, Power Quality Measurement. Power quality measurement. So today's video lectures contains are power quality measurement introduction, then need for the power quality measurement, then common objectives of the power quality monitoring, then power quality measurement devices like harmonic analyzers, transient disturbance analyzers, oscilloscopes, data loggers, and chart recorders. Important factors considered when choosing the instruments. Test locations for the power quality measurement instrument, and last one is instrument setup. So first of all, power quality introduction. So power quality measurement is the process of gathering, analyzing, and interpreting the raw measurement data into useful information. So we have to first gather the measurement data, then analyze this data, and then interpreting this raw measurement data into the useful information. Now the process of gathering data is usually carried out by the continuous measurement of the voltage and current over an extended period. So uh, the power quality measurement process is a long-term process. It is not an instantaneous process. So the process of analysis and interpretation has been traditionally performed manually, but in recent advanced time in signal processing and artificial intelligence fields have made it possible to design and implement intelligent systems to automatically analyze and interpret raw data into the useful information with the minimum human intervention. Minimum human intervention. So, in past, the process of analysis and interpretation of the measured data is done by traditionally performed manually, but now recent time it is advanced by the AI, means artificial intelligence, and the signal processing system. So it is now a very advanced system. Now, need for power quality measurement. So, power quality monitoring programs are often driven by the demand for improving the system wide power quality performance. And in many industrial and commercial customers have equipment that is sensitive to the power disturbances, and therefore it is more important to understand the quality of the power being provided. So these are the main reason behind the need of power quality measurement. Now all data deemed to be relevant should be prioritized and analyzed to the obtain a solution to the problem. From the data obtained by the analysis of the power quality measurement, the problem can be solved. So it should be stressed once again that some power quality problems require not a single solution but a combination of the solutions to obtain the desired end results. So uh, it is not possible to improve the power quality by a single solution, but we have to derive many solutions for the one power quality problem. Now common objectives of the power quality monitoring. So monitoring to the characterize the system performance need to understand its system performance and then match that system performance with the need of customers. So first objective of the power quality monitoring is that to understand the system performance, and then we have to match this system performance with the need of the customer's performance. Then monitoring to characterize specific problems performing short-term monitoring at specific customer sites or at difficult loads Next, monitoring as a part of an enhanced power quality service. So a provider and customer can together achieve this goal by modifying the power system or by installing equipment within the customer's premises. So main two objectives are there. First one is provider and customer can together achieve this goal by the modifying the power system or by installing the equipment within the customer's premises. So supplier have to improve their power quality, and also the customer have put the power quality improvement equipment to its premises. Now last one is the monitoring as a part of predictive or just in time maintenance. Equipment maintenance can be quickly ordered to avoid the catastrophic failure. Catastrophic mean apattijanak. So in time maintenance of equipment can be ordered to avoid the catastrophic failure. So all the equipments of the power system must be maintained within a time period. Now, power quality measurement devices. There are main four power quality measurement devices. First, a harmonic analyzer, transient disturbance analyzer, third one is oscilloscope, and fourth one is data loggers. So now we will discuss each in brief. So now harmonic analyzers. So harmonic analyzers or harmonic meters, another name for the harmonic analyzer is harmonic meters, are relatively simple instruments for measuring and recording of the harmonic distortion data. Typically, the harmonic analyzer contains a meter with a waveform display screen, voltage leads, and the current probes. So, the harmonic analyzer is mainly consists of waveform display screen, voltage leads, and current probes. So, there are basically three categories of the instruments to consider for the harmonic analysis. First one is simple meters, second one is a general purpose spectrum analyzer, third one is the special purpose power system harmonic analyzer. So these are the three main categories of the instrument. Now first one is simple meters. So it may sometimes be necessary to make a quick check of harmonic levels at a problem location, and a simple portable meter for this purpose is ideal. So this is used at very quick check of the harmonic level at a problem location. So there are now several handheld instruments of this type of in the market. So each instrument has advantages and disadvantages in its operation and design. So number of handheld instruments are available for the power quality measurement in the market. These devices generally are use microprocessor based circuitry. So simple meters are used microprocessor based circuitry to perform the necessary calculation to determine individual harmonics up to the 50th harmonic. So this type of meter is used to determine individual harmonic up to 15th harmonic order, as well as the RMS, the total harmonic disturbance, and the telephone influence factor TIF. Telephone influence factor TIF is also measured by these simple meters. So some of these devices can calculate harmonic powers, magnitudes and angles of the harmonic powers, and can upload the stored waveform and calculated data to a personal computer. So this kind of meters are used for the magnitude and angles of the harmonic powers, and upload the stored data waveform to the personal computers. Now, general purpose spectrum analyzer. So, in this type of instrument, they are designed to perform spectrum analysis on waveform for a wide variety of the applications. So these kind of instruments are used for the spectrum analysis or waveform analysis for a wide range of applications. Now they are general signal analysis instruments. They are general signal analysis instruments. So basically it is a general signal analysis instruments. And the advantages of this instrument is that they have very powerful capabilities for a reasonable price since they are designed for a broader market than just power system applications. So its uses are very broad, so its price is reasonable, and it will use for very large purposes. Okay, so the disadvantage is that they are not designed specially for the sampling power frequency waveforms and therefore must be used carefully to assure accurate harmonic analysis. So there are a wide variety of instruments in this type of category. So this is the basic disadvantages for the general purpose spectrum analyzer. Now, special purpose power system harmonic analyzer. So besides the general purpose spectrum analyzer just described, there are also a number of instruments and devices that have been designed specially for power system harmonic analysis. And these are based on the FFT with the sampling rates specially designed for determining the harmonic components in the power signals, and they can generally be left in the field and include communications capability for a remote monitoring. So it is mainly these kind of instruments are mainly based on the FFT analysis with the harmonic components, determining harmonic components in the power signals, and they can generally be left in the field and include communication capabilities for the remote monitoring. Now, transient disturbance analyzer. Transient disturbance analyzer. So, transient disturbance analyzers are advanced data acquisition devices for capturing, storing, and presenting short duration sub-cycle power system disturbances. As one might expect, the sampling rates for these instruments are high. It is not untypical for the transient disturbance recorders to have sampling rates in the range of 2 to 4 million samples per second. So, it is not untypically for the transient disturbance recorders to have sampling rates in the range of 2 to 4 million samples per second. So it is not untypically for transient disturbance recorders to have sampling rates in the range of 2 to 4 million samples per second. So the frequency content informs us to how the events may coupled to other circuit and how they might be mitigated. When the measuring fast rise time or higher frequency transient, the length of the wires are used to connect the instrument to the test point becomes very important. This is the figure for the transient analyzer. Transient analyzer. Combination of a disturbance and harmonic analyzer. Combination, disturbance and harmonic analyzer. So the most recent instrument combine harmonic sampling and energy monitoring function with complete disturbance monitoring function as well. The output is graphically based and the data are remotely gathered over phone lines into the central database. Now, statistically analysis can then be perform on the data, and the data are also available for input and manipulation into other programs such as spreadsheets and other graphical output processors. So one example of such an instrument shown in figure. This instrument is designed for both utility and end user applications, being mounted in the suitable enclosure for installation outdoor on utility poles. So it monitors the three-phase voltage and currents plus neutrals simultaneously, which is very important for the diagnosis power quality problem. So this is one example for the measuring equipment used for end users and suppliers, also for the measurement of the three-phase voltages, currents for neutral simultaneously. So and it will diagnose the power quality problems. So this is the uh, example of the power quality monitoring instrument capable of monitoring disturbances, harmonic and other steady state phenomena. So this is the power quality monitoring instrument. Now next instrument is oscilloscope. So oscilloscopes are useful for measuring repetitive high frequency waveforms or waveforms containing superimposed high frequency noise on power and control circuits. So oscilloscopes are useful for measuring repetitive high frequency waveforms or waveforms containing the superimposed high frequency noise on power and control circuits. Oscilloscopes have sampling rates far higher than transient disturbances analyzers. So oscilloscopes have very high sampling rates than the transient disturbance analyzers, and oscilloscopes with sampling rates of several hundred million samples per second are common. Such data are not within the capabilities of the harmonic analyzer and transient disturbances recorder. The digital storage oscilloscope have the ability to capture the store waveform data for the later use. And using multiple channel digital storage oscilloscope, more than one electrical signal may be viewed and stored in this kind of oscilloscope. So this is the figure for the oscilloscope. So this is oscilloscope used for measure the power quality in form of oscillations. So selection of voltage probes is essential for the proper use of the voltage or proper use of oscilloscope. Voltage probes for oscilloscopes are broadly classified into passive probes and active probes. So passive probes use passive components, resistance and capacitance to provide the necessary filtering and scale factors necessary. Passive probes are typically used for circuits up to 300-volt AC. Higher voltage passive probes can be used in circuits up to 1000-volt AC. So three-phase harmonic and disturbance analyzer for measuring voltage and current history over a period of time, voltage transients and power factor will be used. So this is the figure for the oscilloscope, active and passive probes. So these are the waveform for the current and the current history graph for a lightning panel supplying the fluorescent lightning. So we can see that this is the phase current waveform of the A phase, and this is the current history graph. This is the current history graph, which will give us the different current history at a different time. Now, data loggers and chart recorders. So data loggers and chart recorders are sometimes used to record voltage, current, demand and temperature data in electrical power systems. So data loggers and chart recorders are slow response devices that are useful for the measuring steady state data over a long period of time. So these devices record one sample of the event at predetermined durations such as 1 second, 2 seconds, 5 seconds, etc. And the advantage of the data logger is that they are relatively inexpensive compared to the power quality recording instruments. So they are also easier to set up and easier to use. The data from the device may be presented in a text format or in a graphical format. So they are designed to operate using the low level output of suitable voltage and the current temperature transducer. However, care should be exercised in the installation and the routing of the wires from the transducers to ensure that the output of the transducers is not compromised due to stray noise pickup. Now this is the current data from the data logger for the 1 month test. So these are the amperes and these are the particular dates or time periods, and this is the logger number, this is the start time. So this is the basic example of the current data from the data logger of the 1 month test. Now this is the another example of the harmonic and interharmonic spectrum. So on y-axis these are the percentage of the main magnitude, and on the y-axis these are the number of or order of the harmonic. So this is the harmonic at maximum percentage. So these are the particular result at particular time on 9/8/2005 at 6:53 p.m. in the 60 Hz window. Now important factors considered when choosing the instrument. So first one is number of channels, voltage and voltage or currents. Second one is the temperature specification of the instrument. Third one is uh, rigidness of the instrument. Fourth one is input voltage range, example 0 to 600 volt. Fifth one is power requirements. Sixth one is the ability to measurement the three-phase voltages. Seventh, input isolation between input channels and output channels. Eighth one is ability to measure currents. Ninth one is housing of the instrument, whether it is a portable or rack mount. Easy to use the particular equipment, so user interface, graphic capability. 11th is the documentation of the particular equipment. 12th one is the communication capability of the by using modem, network interface, etc. And last one is the analysis software. Last one is the most important, analysis software for the particular data analysis which are gathered by measuring instrument. So these are the main factors considered while choosing the power quality measurement instrument. Now benefits of continuous power quality monitoring. So power quality monitoring provides a continuous health check of the facility's power system. For example, harmonic interaction between loads and power conditioning equipment spotted. Second one, high inrush currents from the equipment startup detected over transient from load switching are seen. So it provides data to see, diagnose and avoid looming problems like squeaky brakes on a car. So trends can be detected using this. JIT equipment's maintenance programs can be established. So these are the benefits of the power quality monitoring. Now power quality measurements. The first step is solving power quality problems is to determine the test location. So the first step of the solving power quality problem is to find the test location. Even the best available power quality instrumentation is only as good as the personnel using it, and setting up the instrumentation at a location that is not optimum with the respect to affected equipment can yield misleading or insufficient information, and electrical transients are especially prone to error depending on the type of the instrument used and its location. Used and its location. These are the main two steps for the power quality measurement. Now test location. If at all possible, power quality tests should be conducted at multiple locations simultaneously, and from this the data obtained by such means are useful in determining the nature of the power quality problems and its possible source as quickly as possible. If simultaneous monitoring is not feasible due to the cost or other factors, each locations may be individually monitored, taking care to ensure the similar operating environments for the testing at each locations to allow direct comparison of the information, and the number of test locations would be depend on the nature of the problems and the nature of the affected equipment. So these are the basic information about the test location. If the power quality problems are observed at the location C, not at B, it is not necessary to monitor A. It is not necessary to monitor A. If the problem occur at the point C and not at the B, then it is not necessary to observe the point A. On the other hand, if the problems are noticed at C and B, then location A should be tested as well as location D also if necessary. So the experience of the power quality engineer becomes important when trying to resolve the different scenarios. So this is the basic example of the test location. Now instrument setup. So setting up instruments to collect the power quality data is probably the most critical aspect of testing and also one that most often can decide the end result, and setting up is a time when utmost care must be exercised. So setting up is the main thing. We must care for setting up the instrument, and the first step is to making sure to observe the certain safety rules. In the majority of the cases, power to electrical equipment cannot be turned off to allow for instrument setup, and the facility users want as a few interruptions as possible, preferably none. So personal protective equipment PPE is an important component of power quality testing. So personal protective equipment is the most important component of the power quality testing. Minimum PPE should contain electrical gloves, safety glasses, and a fire retardant clothing. So these are the basic requirement of the PPE. While removing panel covers and setting up the instrument props, it is important to have someone else present in the room. Someone else present in the room. So this is the setting up of the instrument. So the worker or the operator wear the proper equipments, personal care equipments like helmets, clothing, etc., etc. So proper personal protective equipment which is essential to performing the power quality instrument setup and testing. The photograph shows the use of the fire retardant clothing, safety hat and shoes. Safety glasses must be worn while connecting the instrument props to the test point, and the test location shown here is properly barricaded to the prevent unauthorized entries in this area. So conclusion from this PPT or this chapter is that measurement of the power quality requires the use of proper instrumentation to suit the applications, and the use of the instrument must be well trained in the use and care of the instrumentation, and the engineers should be knowledgeable in the field of power quality. Most importantly, the engineers should be safety conscious, and all these factors are equally important in solving power quality problems. All these factors are equally important in solving the power quality problems. The power quality work has its rewards. I hope you understood this chapter. Thank you all.